All right, Casey, thanks for coming on, brother. Um, Tell me what's going on in Charleston. We want to hear the story. We want to hear about the scene. Got all these Florida boys and Arizona boys telling us they have the best states. So,
Charleston's
how's the
pretty
Charleston
hot
life?
right now. I mean, it is probably one of the most humid places I've ever stepped foot in. I mean, you can go out there. I played at like 6:30 a.m. this morning. It's about 8:30. I had to work at 9. I mean, I had to bring like 3 shirts. It's so hot.
Just to get through the morning.
Just to get through the morning. I mean, just to be like presentable for my 9 a.m. clinic on Isle Palms. I mean, you have to pack more shorts, more socks and stuff. So it's a great place right now, though. I mean, obviously Charleston being a vacation spot, we got a lot going on, especially July 4th. But no, it's great. I mean, always a growing place around Charleston. Downtown's growing every single day. They're actually
Yeah.
not even able to build more apartments in downtown Charleston right now. It's kind of been a little bit of an issue, and which also goes into not being able to build more pickleball courts. So
Oh
a lot
man,
of
so where are you
people.
playing? How many courts are there, like kind of around your area?
So where I work it's a place called Wild Dunes in Isle Palms. We have
Yep.
5 courts. It was converted from a one singular hard court made 4 pickleball courts, and
Okay.
then we have kind of the hub is over in
Oh
downtown
man.
Charles, more North Charleston. It's called Collins Park. That was converted from hard court as well, and there are 10 I think 10 or 12 courts, and that really is where everybody kind of started out going. That's where everyone still goes now because there really isn't anything else, which I think over the next year is definitely something that the city of Charleston is looking into. I know there's been lots of petitions on Facebook and stuff through the communities of pickleball, people signing up, trying to kind of get the towns saying, hey, we need more public courts. But now the private clubs, I don't know if you know about LTP. There's
No,
two. It's called I think Let's LTP.
like learn
Let's
to
go.
pickle or something.
No, it's a tennis. It's a tennis complex. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay, got it. Okay.
Learn to play. That's what it is.
Oh, learn to
So
play.
learn to
Okay.
play. They have 2 complexes. One in Daniel Island, which is like northeast Charleston, and one more downtown. That's actually where the Charleston Open is. At
Oh yeah, yeah.
the tennis complex. So they're kind of bought into the pickleball world, and they're going to build more courts now, which is great. I think they're going to build 10, is what they were saying. But no, I mean the city of Charleston definitely needs more pickleball courts because the it can't keep up with the amount of people that are growing with the sport in Charleston. I mean, when I started, I picked up my first paddle in like December 28th of this past year, and
Okay.
I would go to Collins Park. I mean, there were courts available. I mean, it was fine. I mean, every Monday was supposed to be like the prime time. You go to Collins Park, you get these games in, and now like you go on a Monday, it's so crowded. You could have 4 on every court, and then you could probably build 10 more courts, put 4 people on those courts, and you'd still have people waiting. I mean, it
Yeah.
is like it's a madhouse. So yeah, definitely need some more courts in the future. And I think that'll definitely happen. Hopefully by December of next year is kind of what I'm hoping for.
I hope so for you too, man. We're kind of dealing with the same growth issue here, but at the same time, we have a lot of public courts popping up. So we've got 4 parks now that have
Mhm.
courts and another on the way, which is pretty nice. But even the one like in the city, always, I feel like right now in the summer, we still have like, I think we have 8 courts running and there's at least 4 courts waiting on the paddle rack. And then
Mhm.
we've got another four
Mhm.
courts on the ground waiting. So I feel like it's a solid like 60 or so people every night when I'm there. It's
And you're
pretty
in
wild.
Greenville, right? You said
Yeah. Yeah. In
Greenville. I got you.
Greenville.
Yeah, I wish the this park doesn't have any kind of paddle place or anything like that. So I mean, it's a madhouse. Like you see a court, somebody go off a court. I mean, there's people getting hounded. It's pretty crazy. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay. So, but tell me this. So in Greenville, we have some high level players, but
Mhm.
to your level, the names that ring a bell would be like Jaden Broderick, who maybe you've met on the APP, and then Alex Lahoon, who I think primarily plays PPA, right? Do you guys know each other?
So me and Alex met maybe 3 or 4 months ago on Instagram. I mean, both are very active on social media.
Nice.
We played a tournament in Charlotte to kind of get our feet wet with the partnership, and we went 7-0 and 5-0, 1 gold, and then actually he's going to be my partner for probably 6 of the next 9 tournaments.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Yeah,
That was a funny, funny
yeah,
happenstance there. We backed
small
into that
world.
one. Sweet. Well, congrats on that.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, like when you're playing high level down there, we were talking earlier, you've got the Kuzmiter brothers, you got like Greg Dow, who's challenger level this year. Hopefully he'll be either sticking to challenger or moving up. That'd be cool. But when you guys want to play like really high level, what's the play down there in a local area where courts are still limited? Do you just try to play at Wild Dunes or you guys just show up and hope it all works out?
It is extremely tough. It's something that I've thought about a ton, kind of how to structure it, because a lot of places you go, they have certain courts. They say, hey, like this is a 4 or 5 duper and up court. Only people
Mm,
here can play. Some people have courts that okay, you win and you stay on. Some people have courts, hey, you play one game and jump off.
yeah.
So it really is again, this place that we play at, where I started, it doesn't have any structure, so it's kind of just every man for himself. So we try to get there a little early. We have Anderson Scarpa, Greg Dow, both cuss miners, like I said. We have Jesse Rochford. We have Olivia McMillan from Jacksonville. She just moved to
Okay.
Charleston maybe a couple weeks ago. We have Clay Gates. We have Garrett Singletary from
Yeah. He's from around here.
Granville.
Yeah.
Friends with Alex as well and Jaden. We have a couple other people that are around every once in a while, but those are kind of the main people that are there. We have a group chat where we just say, "Hey guys, let's go play here, here." With the heat now, it's tough. That's kind of
Yeah.
the avoiding. When I first started playing, it was cold out. So I mean, it was 65, 70 degrees. It wasn't humid, but now kind of avoiding that heat is actually helping being able to have more court time. So that's able to say, "Hey guys, let's go." I mean, no one's on the court at Collins Park at 6:30 a.m. in the morning. The sun's barely up. So
Yeah. But you guys are.
that's able to avoid, hey guys, let's go here and let's play. Let's have 2 courts, go 4-on-4, and then winner goes up, loser goes down, kind of situation. Um, but no, I mean the competitions here is great. There's right now there's people that are better than me and worse than me, so it's definitely a good practice. You kind of have where you go on one court, you got to play up to somebody's high level, like a Greg Dowell, Anderson Scarpa, and
Yeah.
then you got people lower that you should beat. That kind of gives you that pressure of hey, kind of a tournament setting. Hey, you got to go out there and win. So there's definitely a lot of competition, a lot of people joining the scene quickly around here. There's a lot of ex tennis players too that are
Yeah.
definitely learning about the sport quickly. As you know, I mean, you see the kid in the finals of the APP this past weekend in Newport. I mean, came out of nowhere, was high level tennis player, 17 years old, just
Yeah.
kind of popped up. First eight was his
Duong,
first
Duong
tournament, right?
Kwong or
Yeah, first
Duong.
tournament ever, I believe, is what his dad was saying on the interview, um, which I think that's going to be a little more apparent um, over the next couple months as the prize money kind of grows. People see that this is kind of could be an attainable career if you really put your head down. So
Yeah. And I mean, I think a couple of the APP next geners made it to the men's doubles finals too,
yeah, I
which is
saw
cool.
Richard and what's Lanier.
Linear. Yeah.
Lanier
I'm
was the other
forgetting
guy.
the
Yeah,
first
they
name.
played. I saw they played a little tight, but I mean, as the first gold performance, I'm sure they were nervous, but no, they had a great run. I watched a little bit past weekend, so
I feel like whenever you're playing DSQ, or DSQ, it's tough, man. You can't miss it all because he's just gonna rip it. He's a big dude. He's covering everything. So I'm sure
yeah.
and they already lost. So I think the APP, the way it works is that if they would have won, they still have to go win again. Is that right? It's like a double elimination
So
round.
you got to win, and then you got to go be in the game to 15 because they haven't lost yet, which
Got it.
technically is fair to the team that has made it all the way through the winners bracket if the
Yeah,
tournament is truly double elimination.
I like that. That's pretty cool.
No, I really like how in the APP you're able to feed back in. I feel like it kind of aids the people that have a chance. With PPA, I mean it's tough. It's tough. I mean, especially I
Yeah,
don't know if you know this, but you're not getting any points for the back draw in PPA. So if you
yeah,
lose in
I've
the
heard of this. Yeah, it's really
lose in
tough if
the
you
first
lose.
draw, I mean first round, second round, I mean you get a good amount of points if you're in the main draw. But I mean, it's almost like if you're not able to go beat like a mid-level team in PPA right now, you may as well just lose in the qualifier and go get points in the points draw. I mean, as weird as that
Yeah, I mean, I
sounds.
heard there was a really good post about this, about how difficult it is to climb through the PPA to actually get yourself a good seed and make it to I mean, even just the main bracket out of the qualies, and that's really tough. Um, I was going to ask you this later, but I guess we could break it out now. Is like, speaking of the difference in the APP and the PPA, what kind of rule would you change right now, whether it be about the ranking style or just like in general about pickleball? Is there anything you would change if you could snap your fingers and do it?
So I love just the traditional scoring. I wouldn't change any kind of rally scoring. I mean, I do like it. I think it's fun. I do like how
Okay.
they do MLP too. I would say the one thing, kind of going with our last point with both tournaments now, because they're both doing it, is just being a little more transparent to kind of the lower pros and kind of the amateurs as well. I'm seeing a lot of posts after certain tournaments that are very busy that like the transparency with the date and times of matches is like
Mm,
changing so much. People are standing around like 4 hours in between matches. Um,
yeah.
it just something needs to change with that because it's going to start pushing like the newer players. Like if it's your first tournament and you're waiting 4 hours in between matches, it's not going to say, "Hey, let's go do this again." A place that's farther away.
Yeah, it's
So
pretty
definitely
frustrating.
just transparency with that. I played a tournament in Cincinnati a couple weeks ago, and they were like, "Okay, qualifier 7 a.m. start." It was like 6:27. This is a.m. by the way in the morning.
Okay.
They come on the intercom, "Hey, you got 3 minutes." I mean, we just walked on the court like 8 minutes prior. Didn't warm up
Yeah.
at all, and we're playing one game to 15. Like, it was just.
Uh,
I
Put
feel
yourself in
like,
a bad position. It's tough.
oh yeah, just setting yourself up for failure. I mean, I feel like that's definitely one thing. And then I don't know how attainable this is, but I mean, being able to move the qualifiers back to the same day as the actual draw of the tournament. So PPA was the first one to do this, but for example, for Seattle, I gotta fly out on Tuesday to qualify on Wednesday to play on Saturday.
I
Same thing.
see. Okay.
So APP is not
Because
so.
Thursday's the singles day,
That's right.
they don't want you playing the same day as the singles day.
So actually, so men's singles have so many people now, and men's doubles does as well that you're not. So I could if I go play singles and men's doubles in Seattle in the qualifier, I have to play both those in the same day on that Wednesday.
Man.
So it's just for a player like me who's up and coming, trying to kind of gain some ground and get some big wins, and not really bringing in a huge amount of income as these big top players are.
Yeah.
Flying out, telling my boss, "Hey man, I'm gonna be gone on Tuesday now, not Thursday." Like missing 2 more days of work. He's not extremely happy with that. He's been very helpful with this whole thing, and he supports me 100%. But no, telling him, "Hey, for the next, I'm gonna play 8 tournaments before December 25th, and I gotta leave on Tuesday of that week." He's not too terribly pleased with that.
No, I get
But
it.
no,
Maybe you can
that's
throw you in some Wild Dunes gear and you can
I
like, I
know maybe
mean,
some
it's a
some wild.
destination. It's a destination. So
Well, so they do give us it's a Hyatt resort. They do give us some free days for that, so I will be able to use that for some travel and stuff. But no, I mean having to fly out on Tuesday to go to Seattle to play on Wednesday, kind of it's going to deter a lot of people, and I feel like that's definitely something that needs to change if you again want to bring more people to the scene. Again, if our goal is to cut people down and not have people come, I would say that would do it because it has deterred me in the
right.
past. But really, I'm going to kind of go all in the next 6 months and kind of put the time in before the tournaments, being able to get there early. So we'll see what
Yeah.
happens with that. But no, that's definitely the one thing I change. I mean, it's just so much money, especially again when these people aren't bringing in a ton of money. So
No, I'm with you.
yep,
So, well, I want to get to another thing about tennis because I know you're a former tennis
yep.
player. But before we do that, I think it'd be kind of fun to walk like the listeners through your week next week. So you're gonna fly out. You have to go across the country. Seattle's cool, but like, do they give you hours to practice? Do you like dedicated court time? Like, what's the worst case scenario? Meaning, I guess if you lose on Wednesday, do you get like a minimum of 2 matches, 3 matches? What's the
So
worst
so
case and best case?
um, I'll walk you through Cincinnati because it was probably a month ago. So Seattle's at the end of July. So
Okay.
APP. Let's say I'm playing mixed with Jesse on a Friday. I'm gonna play men's on Saturday. This was the last tournament that hey, like you're playing the same day as the actual tournament.
Okay.
Um, so fly out on Thursday morning. Yeah, Thursday morning. Get there. We actually had a host family host us that was members of where I work. So that was
All right.
very nice. Free hotel or free house. It was awesome. They were very nice, very accommodating to us. Let us stay there. Let us use a car. So again, that takes away some of the
Nice.
being able to the expenses. But flew out, was able to get a little bit of practice that night. There really wasn't. If you're not again, you're not playing singles and you go to the event. Singles is on that day, so there really was no, hey
Okay.
guys, like these are the courts you're going to be able to use to practice. Um, it does help that I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. My family's from Cincinnati, so I did know some courts that were available up there outside of the venue. So I was able to go practice a little bit, which is good.
Nice.
Go to bed though, wake up the next morning. 4:45 wake up call both days for a 7 a.m. match that started around 6:30 both days. Play a little bit. Again, go to sleep, wake up 4:45 the next day, play again. And then as of right now, I'm not waiting to book my flight till Sunday afternoon. I'm leaving on Saturday afternoon right now. And if things start going well tournament wise, I can move my flight back if
Yeah.
Championship Sunday is in the mix in the future. But
Heck
as
yeah.
of right now, I'm flying back on Saturday nights. But for Seattle upcoming, I'll fly out probably. I would think. I mean, with the time change, hopefully as early as possible on Tuesday morning. Get out there, play a little bit that night, get ready for the qualifier for men's. Probably, I'm sure it's probably around 8, 9, 10 in the morning. Play that qualifier, hopefully qualify. Um,
How
there's
many
no,
matches do you have to get through to get to the main draw?
it depends on if we have, so I don't have any PPA men's doubles points. I have
Yeah.
APP points. So again, it's not transferable. So it's only
Yep.
one, which kind of stinks as well. But I do have PPA mixed points. I've accumulated a couple of matches. I only have 11 matches that I've played,
Okay.
so I have a little of that. So I would imagine with PPA just being so many people, we're gonna have to qualify for both. So mixed is gonna be on Friday, and the qualifier for men's is gonna be on Wednesday. So get out there Wednesday morning, play that qualifier. Hopefully qualify. I would say we're gonna have to win between Daytona was 3 matches. I would think there's going to be less people in Seattle, so maybe two. One if we're lucky. So we'll see about that. Hopefully rest up. Thursday would be a rest day because I'm not playing singles. So just
Yep.
get some matches in with Dober in. Again, hopefully we qualified. We're going to be ready for Saturday. Get some matches in with Jesse for mixed on Friday. Play mixed on Friday. Hopefully do well. Play a little bit with Jim that night. There's always the happy medium because you played all day, like with
Yeah.
mixed. Like, hey, do you want to practice? You got to practice at night too because you got to get ready for the next day, especially if playing early in the morning.
Yep.
So definitely get some men's work in that Friday night. Get up early, go out there, get some match reps in before we step on the court with Jim, and then hopefully fire away and play for as long as possible. So that's
Heck yeah.
definitely with PPA. There's a little more. It is you lose and you're able to play a lot more. With APP, you could lose one match and you're going home. One
Oh
game to
man.
15.
Okay.
So there's with APP, you better start quick or you're going home. So PPA, they have that points draw. So if you lose in the qualifier, they just put everybody in kind of a big format, which is obviously really great. That's a lot more accommodating than some of the other things I've seen. So it does kind of push us all in a pod. We're able to play it out, single elimination, best 2 out of 3. It's not just one game to 15 to go home. So that's
Right.
um, definitely it's kind of that a smaller like everyone knows about kind of the touring tennis pro and going there weeks in advance and getting all this money from sponsors and stuff, not having to do anything except for play. With me, I kind of have to, again, I'm up and coming, so I have to kind of coordinate it with work and make sure it works for them, so that I'm able to go to these trips and not spend too terribly much money on hotels and stuff and rental cars and everything like that. But no, I very excited about Seattle. Very excited about the rest of the year. We got a lot of tournaments, so
Yeah, and you're playing. So you were telling me that you and Eric and Jim Dober and kind of Eric Roddy, who was on the podcast before, you guys linked up in Charleston, and so Jim, who's from out of Charlotte, right,
yep,
is going
out
to
of show.
team up with you in Seattle. And was there another tournament or just Seattle for now?
So yeah, Eric Roddy and Jim Dober, they came down to Charleston because they're good friends with Anderson Scarpa. So we played a couple matches last weekend. Jim's a primarily right side player. I'm a left side player. So we played a couple matches. It worked really well. So yeah, so Jim is gonna play with me for Seattle. I think he's playing with Schick. in Denver, PPA.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. Yep.
So he actually he just bought a BMW van, and he's going to take it out west and just drive it around to every tournament. So he's definitely going to be living a good life. But no, he's going to meet me out in Seattle. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Men's with him and then mixed with Jesse. So
Sweet.
yeah,
And so clearly, if you qualify, you don't want to wake up the next morning and see the Johns brothers on your list. But like, is there a main draw opponent that you would wake up and be? And it's okay if they're here listening.
yeah,
Maybe they're
yeah,
listening,
yeah.
but is there anybody you'd wake up and be like, all right, I feel good about this kickoff. We have a chance against these guys. Let's go do it.
So with tennis, I'm a very analytical person. I am. I like to look at
Yeah.
analytics. I like to look at stats. And with pickleball, I've told myself, Casey, you're not doing that. So I try not to look
Okay.
up dupers. I try not to. Again, I don't know. I know a lot of these pro players just because I've watched it on TV and been at a couple events, but I don't know everything about every single person. I'm all for, okay, I look at the draw. I see I'm going to play this person. I'm going to look at maybe watching a match that they played on YouTube to just kind of know what they're good at, what they're not good at, just so I can tell my partner, hey, let's aim for this.
Yep.
But I mean, when I played my first tournament in Daytona, I didn't even know what an Ernie was. Had no idea.
Okay.
And we played our first qualifying match, and we were up 10-7 on a team and lost, I think, 11-13. And I was like, this
Okay.
team's pretty solid. I was like, the team we played, I'm not going to say their name, but they were solid. They were fine. They went on and they played Ben Johns and Colin on one of the side stadium courts at Pictona in Daytona. And I mean, the crowd for this match was 10 people. I don't know why they didn't put them on center court, but there was 10 people deep on
Like 10
every side,
rows.
on every
Okay.
side.
Wow.
And I was like, I was watching from afar and I was looking and I was like, why is everyone watching this match? And I saw, okay, it's the team that just beat us that is playing Colin and Ben. So that would have been us.
Yep.
And they take Ben and Colin lose game one. I'm like, I was about to beat this team, my first game ever, not really knowing how to play the sport.
Yep.
That could be me out there. So I took that as I really am not too. I mean, again, I now know some of the personalities. I can see it on TV. You see Tyson and kind of the yelling, and you see kind of the maybe Riley Newman just talking
Yeah.
back and
Yeah.
forth with people. It's great. It's a great banter. I mean, it's great for the sport. But no, I would say if I were to pick like one person, I really want to play. I would love to play James Ignatowicz at some point. I also have that two-hand backhand off the line, so I think it would
Oh, nice.
kind of be interesting back and forth, two hands. Um,
Are you doing a two-hand dink like he does? He does a very
well,
pronounced two-hand dink.
I dink two hands when I get pushed off the line of my back foot, but then I
Okay.
take
Okay.
one hand out of the air. So I kind of I kind of do a hybrid of it. Um, but no, I mean I've played a couple of these names around PPA and APP. And I would say James would be one I would like to play Tyson. I think Julian Arnold would be great. Him yelling, I think that's
Yeah.
awesome. I watched him play in Daytona too. But no, I don't really have one person I'd say, okay, I really want to play against them. I really want to beat them or anything, because really the goal is to beat all of them.
That's right.
But no, I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to the next few months to getting to play those big names, so I can hopefully find that signature win. Because again, all these emerging pros, they're looking for, okay, like for example, Tom Brady gets called off the bench in the Super Bowl, and they're like, "Hey, Tom, come in here, win this game," and he wins, and he's kind of the hero forever. He earns that respect. It's the same
Yep.
thing of all these qualifiers coming out. I mean, you're looking for that signature win where people can say, "Hey, Eric Roddy and Jim Dober," and they just beat Jack Sock and Tyson, and now forever they're going to be remembered as those guys who came out of nowhere and kind of did that. So it's
Absolutely.
definitely what I'm looking for as well the next couple months. So
Yeah. I mean, it's a great response, and it's actually a really good segue because we were going to talk about kind of the breakout stars this year. So these are what the PPA announced as like first time medalists.
yep,
So most of the men, I mean, are definitely names that I feel like are pretty big, but it's like Christian Alshon, Connor Garnett, which I feel like really kind of came out of nowhere.
mm-hmm.
Colin Schick, I still think it's wild that he's in med school
It's great.
and doing what
It's
he's
great.
doing.
Can't believe he does it.
Um, Brendan Long,
Mhm.
who had that big win with Tyson, but I feel like all the hype has subdued a bit there.
That's cooled off a bit.
Um, yeah. Jack Sock, of course. Yeah, Jake in there. And then on the women's side, let's see. Let me throw some names at you. All right, and so for the women, this girl was on James's podcast, but Mary Brascia,
Yeah,
Brascia,
yeah.
Brascia.
Gotcha.
She has a sister too, right? And then Yana Grechkina. I don't know if you've seen this girl in person. She's like 5'2", man. She's like this tiny girl, but like packs a lot of power. Lacey Schneeman, who I think just announced, like kind of like you, she was working full time. She's like an engineer or
Mhm.
something, and
Yep.
officially quit her job.
I did see that.
So all these people are just these are first timers. Um, who do you like the most out of these like first time medalists this year? Who do you think like can really sustain, in your opinion? So
I
on the
mean,
men's side,
first
you get
off,
more like the Christians, you get the
yeah,
Pablo, the Connor, Colin Schick. Anybody in that group that you think has longevity?
yeah. Well, first I would say just like it's definitely hard with the sport, quitting your full-time job. So to Schneeman, that I mean, that's great props to that. I mean, and taking the leap and betting on yourself, that's obviously what every person wants to do. So definitely
Yeah,
props to that. I would say, I mean, if you're giving me $1,000, hey, this person has to medal.
bet
I
on the
would
horse, baby.
say,
Who you got?
I mean, in the next 6 months, I would say number two would be Colin Schick. I mean, the run he had in Daytona was great. I think he's been, I mean, from what I've seen, he's been very close the last couple of times, just a few points kind of breaking it. I mean, he beat
Yeah.
Ben. Did he beat Ben in Atlanta or Charlotte?
So the Atlanta, I think who beat Ben was Christian Alshon. I
Oh,
think Colin beat him in what it wasn't Texas. Maybe it was Texas.
it was in between that, I believe. It was somewhere around there. But I
Yeah.
know he's had some big wins. So I would say, again, he's in med school. I'm sure he's training a lot, but I'm sure if he put a little more, hey, let's. I mean, again, with med school, it's everything you're doing. So the fact that he's doing
Yeah.
both is insane. But I saw a video that he's been practicing a little more. So I would say him for sure got a medal. And number one, I would say I'm a tad biased because this person is from Charleston, but I would say Jake Kussmeyer. I mean, the guy can go out there and roll people quickly. I mean,
Yep.
I watched him in Daytona again. First term in Daytona, watched him. He beat Federico in the back draw like 15-3. He beat Jay DeVilliers like 15-5. Easy. I mean, it looked like Jake wasn't trying. I mean, just it comes so naturally to him, which is on a singles court, which is great. But the same thing what he did later in the year in the PBA. I mean, just rolled through people, beat Dylan Frazier easy. Again, he fell into some tough spots later in the draw. But again, I would say for sure, if I want to bet $1,000 on a person to medal this last half of the year, I would say Jake would be the person for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
So a guy like that, like clearly you're playing multiple events.
Yeah.
What's stopping him from, is it just like a focus on singles or is it not found the right partner? Like why not play both events or why hasn't he kind of dipped his toes? Or maybe he hasn't, I'm missing
So
it, but
he plays doubles. I don't think he's played mixed in a little bit from especially since I've been around. But no, I mean with his caliber of singles play, I mean he could go out there and win an event again. I would say he's focusing more on the singles game. Again, he also teaches tennis every single day, so he's on the singles court. He's,
oh,
he's playing tennis still every single day. He loves tennis.
wow, okay.
So I think that kind of is the happy medium where okay, you can still play tennis kind of on a pickleball court. So I think he likes that a lot.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Is he speaking of him and Greg and yourself,
Yeah.
I think all of you have your name in the ring for MLP, right?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Nice, nice. So, do you think Jake will make it this year in the Challenger? What's your expectation for the draft?
So the kind of the cusp of the top 48 is just so interesting to me with MLP because I mean you have Sam Querrey outside the top 48 and I
Yep.
would imagine he'll still be in there. You have Anderson at 35. I don't know what he was the last. I didn't see the list of the last draft, but um, I mean, you gotta expect the person at 35 is getting in to the Challenger League again. You would think.
Yep.
So it's just being able to have a really balanced singles and doubles game, I think, is a huge thing to take into account. Obviously, being able to have kind of a balanced duper, both at probably around, I want to say 6'4" was the number that I saw right around most people,
Yep.
maybe 6'3" in the top 48. Um, but no, I'm sitting at 175 right now. And
Still
it's
a top
definitely a
200
goal of
player.
mine. It's
Great.
definitely a goal of mine before the beginning of 2024 to be sort of in that top 100, top 75 kind of area.
Yep.
Especially with how many tournaments I'm playing. If I play how I think I am, I could definitely get up in that spot, kind of get on those teams' radars. But no, I mean, Greg is in there. I want to say he's top 60. I want to say. But again, he's a right side player, so I mean, you never know what these teams are looking for. That's kind of the beauty of it. You never know.
I know as it shakes out, it's
Yeah,
like,
you never
these
know. You could
teams
have
may
one
just want
player.
to build around
That's right.
someone
That's
or,
right.
yeah, help someone else out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these ladies that I saw in MLP, I mean, they carried their teams. A lot of the MVPs of the past MLP events were ladies. So, I mean,
Yep.
I definitely see some of these teams building around those ladies. And again, that could be picking up a right side only player or picking up a left side player. You just never know. So, I think that's kind of the fun part about it is you just never know. It may not be the best player out there. It could be just the specific player they're looking for. So, I think that is definitely an interesting aspect to it.
Yeah. So what, you have any predictions? First, I want to ask, do you have any predictions on who's moving down? It's like everybody keeps talking about who's moving up, but I want to know if you think, is there a male player right now that you can think of that likely won't stick around?
Um, if I had to pick a player I mean, the rosters are great. If you had to pick one, I would say maybe DJ Young. I would say. Um, I mean, the other roster, I don't see much movement. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to look at that list and those teams and imagine anyone. I mean, they could be interchangeable, but I don't know. I just how this year went. I just don't see too many people being pushed down at all. I mean, even the young kids like Gabriel and Patrick, they both played great. I don't see. I mean, if they didn't play good, I could see maybe those young kids getting pushed down, somebody else getting moved up. But I don't really see too much movement. I think more of the movement is going to be the challenger people out and newer people in, which I think is definitely going to be a lot more interesting for sure. So,
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, I'm not even sure if Kyle Yates is playing. I thought I heard maybe
well, that's the other interesting
Matt
aspect to it.
Wright.
So, is you just don't are all the people on the list going to play? Um, Also, you're adding Paris Todd in that list, so it's going to eliminate one female from there. So again, that will push somebody out, which will kind of stink for that person.
Yeah, I have a hard time. I don't know. I'm not even sure that anybody else is on the same level or would agree with me. But
Mhm.
I just have a hard time not putting Christian Alshon in the Premier, given how well they played in the Challenger, and he's such
Mhm.
an electric player.
Yep.
I feel like he does play decent men's doubles, and he's that singles guy if you need him
Hmm.
on the bubble, right? So it's like I have a hard time not seeing him make it.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
you got to play again. He can do both. You're looking for the player that can play both, and if you really need to, can play the singles game. So no, he played great. I could definitely that could be a person for sure that could move up.
I think, yeah, and I think Sam
You're
Query
missing
might be one of
one
those
name.
picks. Say again?
You're missing one name that I think you're gonna say.
A
What do you
name
think?
that I think will move up.
Yeah. What do you think? You got any other guesses?
Well, Pablo's in the mix,
Pablo's a
right?
mixture. That was one of my names.
Pablo's in the mix, and I mean Sam Query's in the mix.
Yeah, I would say
And
he's improved a lot in the past couple months.
my only thing with Sam is I feel like people would grab him as kind of a marketing play too.
Definitely. I
Like
mean, again, that's another aspect of it.
it's one of those polarizing players that you either hate him or love him, and
Yeah.
either way, I think it helps your team.
Either way,
um,
hey, publicity is always usually a good thing. So I don't know. It could be a
yeah.
good move by a team for sure.
Who am I missing? Who am I missing that can move up?
I would say, I would say Garnett. I would say
You
Connor.
think he had
I mean,
strong enough doubles? Because
I,
it's a pretty
I
big
think
doubles
he's
game.
playing better. Again, if you're looking at a player that can come out there and win singles points, I mean, arguably maybe I don't know. I mean, I put him maybe top five singles guy. I mean, if you just take all the guys and put them in a line,
Yeah.
um, I don't know. I just again, I think he's gotten a lot better the last couple months, and I definitely could see that as somebody as kind of a wild card people don't see coming get in that top 24.
All right, let me ask you about two names about
Yeah.
potential folks who could move down.
Okay.
So, and I love Tyler Loong's podcast, and they were, I guess there's been some on, I don't know if it was on Reddit or Facebook about him being moved down. So, so him or Eric Lang, because I don't know a lot about Eric Lang, but he's not like one of those guys that I feel like is very marketable. But have you ever seen him play in person?
I've seen him play a couple times, um, but I don't see. I did see that podcast with Ling too. Also, I wear Acacia pickleball shoes, so I wear his shoes, so I know a little
Nice.
bit about him. But no, I don't. I really don't see Loon going down. Again, if you're looking at marketability and kind of a person that's more out there, more active on, so again, if you're going down to those small of things,
Yep.
I don't see Loon going down. I mean, if and really all these players, once you get to that upper echelon of players in that league, they're so close. You can kind of break it down where this person's better at this person's better at this, but I feel like you're gonna have to go by smaller things like that eventually.
Yeah, and speaking of some of these guys though, like on the APP, you got
Yep.
Hunter Johnson, right? I mean, like the Johnson brothers. Like, do you take them because of their marketability and how well they're known on that tour, or do you really feel like they're not ready for premier level?
I mean, I've seen him play a couple times, and I don't know. I don't. Again, they are very marketable. They're always there. They're always winning. They're always medaling. I think that looks great.
Yeah,
But I don't. I just don't see them. I really don't see them as being able to compete at a really, really high level. I think they're great for the sport. I think they do. They play really well in the APPs. But I think it's really hard to put those people in that grouping with the top PPA people if you're not playing them a ton. It really is. I mean, it's a completely different
yeah.
world.
And so you would take Tardio over Johnson brother.
Yes, yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
That kid's insane. I mean, that kid's hands are unbelievable.
Yeah, and he played really well at the last event.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so you said you had a female that you had to throw out there that you think's going to move up. So you got it. Who you got? Because it's next week, right? Next
Next
week's the
week, yeah,
draft.
yeah. I want to say it's today is July 5th. I want to say it's July 11th, maybe is the date.
Yeah, or 12th. Yeah, one of
Well,
those days. Yeah.
so
Yep.
I met this girl in Cincinnati actually. Never talked to her ever in my life. Watched her play. Her name is Ariel Butler. She's from Arkansas.
Okay.
She's actually number 49 on that list. If you look at the women's list, right outside the top 48. Um, and I mean, this girl can flat out play. I mean, her resets are unbelievable. She's the perfect, again, if we're looking for a certain person you're going to draft, I mean, she plays the right side most of the time, and she's as sturdy and a wall as they come. If because a lot of those people, the top 48, they're going to be left side impatient players like myself. And she is kind of the perfect combination to bring into a team, and again, kind of create people around her. So I would say that would be my kind of wild card outside the top 48 that I think should be in that list if I was picking a team.
Wow. Yeah, I'm looking at her now. Ariel
Me.
Butler. All right, so she's 49 on the list. That's the total list.
Total list.
Um, yeah, I was really feeling bullish on Tyra Black.
Tyra Black. Yeah, no,
Looks
I
like
played
she's
her in
32.
Daytona. She was great. Getting a lot better.
Yeah. And so this Ariel Butler, are you guys are you is she playing in Seattle as well? Do you
So
kind of
she
keep up
will
with
be
where she's
playing.
playing?
She will actually be playing with Anderson Scarpa, I believe, in
Oh, cool.
Seattle. Yeah, no, it's in Seattle. So they were mixed partners for a while. They actually won the APP in Indianapolis last year, I believe.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, so they've been playing for a little bit. I think they're getting back into it. She's playing a lot more now. I believe she's moving to Charlotte to be able to kind of have more of a training group, taking it a little more serious. So I think the sky is the limit for that girl. I mean, it was great watching her in Cincinnati. So
who were all the pros up there? So I mean, like the ones that I remember Eric were telling me about were him and Jim. Jack was playing with them, but I wasn't sure if Jack was playing with them only because of the tournament he was playing in, or if that's a regular
I
thing.
want to say it's a regular thing. I don't know who the fourth is though. I don't know who
Brooke
the fourth is.
Brooke
Oh, Brooke
Buckner.
Buckner. Yeah, you're right. You're correct. Yes, I've heard that name. Yeah, she's up there too.
Okay, but you guys got some good players in Charleston. So
Yeah, I mean it's again it's a short drive and they like to come down here a lot, so it's definitely um I mean we have some good players in Hilton Head too. So able to kind of go up and down and find those players is great.
nice, that's awesome. Um, all right, so one thing I wanted to talk to you about was less about the pro world. I feel like in pickleball right now, like the paddle scene is
Yep.
really big, and not about problems with paddles, but nowadays there's just so many paddles coming out. I see you're playing. I think you were playing with the O2, last
Mhm.
picture I saw,
Yeah.
but you played with Yola before. Have you
Yeah.
tried out any of the new paddles? Like, if you have any opinion on paddles these days and the technology?
So I am I'm a creature of habit. I don't like to switch things a lot. I'm very
Yeah.
superstitious as well. So like wearing an armband on my wrist was like a big deal for me. That's how superstitious I am. So I started out when I first started playing with the Power Air from
Okay.
Celtic, and I liked that a lot. I feel like it was the most like a tennis racket, so that was why I used it. Um, I felt like I had enough whip in my arm and enough snap in my wrist that I didn't need that much power. So I switched to the old Ben John's Yola, the 16 millimeter, I believe is what it was, just the
Yeah.
most basic one. I liked that a lot. I played with that in a couple tournaments. That kind of gave me the ability to reset. Again, I was able, just with my natural tennis skills, able to speed the ball if I needed to. And then one day, somebody just handed me this 002, and I don't know, I felt like I was a different player with this paddle. I mean,
Okay.
I was able to kind of that transition area, I was able to either slow it down or I could really speed it up without really flicking my wrist. And with the Ben Johns paddle, it was more pressure on my wrist, kind of
Yeah.
flicking. And with the O2, the thing just pops right off. It's like tennis. It acts like it has strings. So I really have been loving using that paddle. It would be hard to pull me away from that paddle. But I have used the new Perseus. That is actually a paddle when I teach pickleball clinics that I recommend to a lot of people.
Mm.
It's very easy to play with. My mom just started playing, I want to say maybe a month ago. She's never played before, tennis player. I said, Mom, this is the paddle. If I was going to buy one right now, it would probably be that just because it kind of has everything you need. It's
Yep.
not, I didn't want to give her an O2 where ball's going to be flying everywhere, which is easy to reset the ball. Again, speed it up, easy to serve with. It wasn't anything too crazy. But no, I'm definitely eager to try the O5. I saw Paris Todd was playing with the O6 in the last APP finals.
Yep.
And the ball, I heard it was a little soft. I've never played with it, never seen it in person.
Yeah.
I heard it was a little soft, but I mean, the ball was flying off her paddle, so it can't be that soft. So I'm definitely, if there was one I was going to try next that I thought, okay, this could be the next paddle I use, I would say the O6 would be the next one to use.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I see, coming from tennis like you did, and I played tennis too, but not at your level. I normally carried like two rackets at all time
Yeah.
just because if my strings broke or something. But and the pros I know carry a lot, like the ones that are sponsored, right?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Are you buying four of these O2s at a time just in case they
So
get a little dead on you?
So I made actually me and Jesse, my mixed partner. So Jesse's actually my boss too at work. She's the head tennis
Oh,
pro there.
nice.
So it kind of works when we get to drill every day. So we made a pact at work one day. We were sitting in like the break room waiting to go on for clinic, and we're like, no matter what, we are not buying a paddle until someone like gives it to us that is gonna like sponsor us. Like we made a pact, like I don't
Okay.
care what it takes, we'll do hand-me-downs, we'll do whatever it takes. We are not buying a paddle. So I have 7 paddles in my bag, and I have not bought one paddle. Not bought one.
Well, they're
They're
all the
just
same or no?
no. So I have a Ben John's Yola. I have an O2. I have Power Air. I have an Ace paddle, which is a Charleston brand. It's called Spade.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
I just won a money ball last weekend on Daniel Island, which is in Charleston, and they gave away an Ace of Spade Diamond. So that's their new paddle, is the Diamond. So I have
Yeah.
one of those. Um, and then I also have a couple more that have just, again, I was a beginner. They're like, hey, Casey, try this out and just see if you like it. So I have those in there. I did cave. It really hurt me, but I did cave and buy a pickleball bag to travel with.
There you go. Gotta have something.
But no, every other paddle in there was given to me or handed down. I think with how much wear and tear I'm putting on the O2, training twice a day, I think it's gonna be beneficial. I mean, again, going to Seattle and paying for all this stuff, and then my paddle breaking or not passing in the exam because it's old. I need another paddle. So I would
Oh
think
man.
before Seattle.
Oh, Kirk, where are you? Come on, let's
I,
go.
I know. I really, yeah. It would be nice to get a few more. Hint, hint. But yeah, no. It's I have a Yola bag and it fits my tennis rackets in there. That's actually why I bought it, is to be able to
Oh,
get my tennis rackets and my pickleball paddles in there. Because before I was just carrying a backpack with my
yeah.
pickleball paddles and rackets in hand, so it wasn't smart. So it was probably my best purchase with pickleball wise, I would say. But no, I mean, yeah, the O2 is great. But I mean, you can't go wrong with any Yola paddle too. So
Nice.
yeah.
Well, Selkirk, please help this guy out.
I know,
It sounds
please
like a
come on.
perfect match.
Don't make me go to Seattle with one paddle, please.
That's right. What are the but you have some other sponsors though, huh? Like a shoe sponsor and what else? Who else is
So I do
sponsoring you?
have I do have Acacia. They reached out to me about a month and a half ago. Um, so the reason it's funny, again, a side note, kind of personal about my life. So I'm a huge Cincinnati Bengals fan.
Okay.
I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. My dad's from Cincinnati, so I'm a big Bengals and Reds fan, like die hard, those two. And I'd been wearing like some Vapor Pro Nike shoes for a long time, just with tennis. That's what I wore growing up. I just didn't know any different. And one day I saw a picture of Tyler Loong playing in these shoes. And I was
Like
like,
bright orange, yeah.
bright orange like the Bengals. And I was like, I mean, how can I be a Bengals fan and not have these shoes? So I did a little bit of research. Guy reached out to me, called him back, and kind of made a deal. So now I have lots of Acacia pickleball shoes. I have those shoes. So yeah, no, they've been great. Some monthly meetings to talk through some things, but no, they've been awesome. And then I also am an ambassador for um, Celsius, which is the energy drink brand.
Yeah, yeah.
That's probably not great for you, but I do love them. They keep me on the court, keep my eyes open. So it's actually pretty bad. I actually cannot play a pickleball like game or drill without drinking one before. And that is not a sponsor. That's not a paid sponsor. That is true.
That's
I have
legit.
to have like a little energy, and that thing, those drinks do it right.
So you're not a coffee guy. You're just drinking Celsius.
So because now I'm getting up at 5:45 in the morning to go play, and then I'm playing in the afternoon. If I'm playing twice in the day, like I just said, I need two.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've started drinking iced coffee in the morning to kind of give myself that fix, and then in the afternoon I'll drink a Celsius. So I'll
Oh,
have a
dude,
little
don't
bit
worry
of
about it. I
a
probably
little bit.
drink like 40 ounces of coffee. Like
I
you're not gonna.
try to limit my caffeine as much as possible, but no, that seems to be the easiest solution for me with not drinking two Celsiuses in one day and not being able to sleep that night. So
There's worse vices in the world, man.
I
Could
feel, I
have told
feel
me you
like
drink a pint of whiskey or something a
that's
day.
right. That's right. You could be drinking, yeah, me drinking every night here, and I'm not doing that, which is good. So they keep my body ready for the next day.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, so before we sign off, let people know one where to find you, how to support you, because I know that one you're teaching. There's a lot of people who travel to Wild Dunes as well. Like, can they book you, and then where can they find you on social, and then how can we watch you in the upcoming tournaments? Where can we find you?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the number one way, if you weren't going to call my shop where I work in Isle Palms, I would just say to find me on Instagram. My Instagram is just at Casey Diamond. Diamond is not like diamond ring. Um, and just direct message me. I've gotten a lot of lessons from people in Charleston and people outside of Charleston that are coming to Wild Dunes saying, "Hey, how do we book a lesson with you?" And again, I can do that in 5 seconds. Just message me that way. You can find me on Facebook, TikTok, all is Casey Diamond. I have Twitter, anything like that you want to follow me on. But I would say the easiest way, I mean, I'll be posting for the next couple months when I play in tournaments. I'm going to have somebody watching like the YouTube channel, and they're going to post on my Instagram, "Hey, Casey's going on this court at this time if you want to watch him on the live stream." So I'm going to try to keep up with that to basically be able to show all the people back home in Kentucky what I'm doing. I'm not just in
That's
Charleston.
right.
So um, definitely that I would say that's kind of the number one way to support is just to follow me around on social media, and I'll definitely be posting kind of updates on what I'm doing today and what I'm doing next week. I have a guy in California that makes some different kind of edits about when my upcoming tournaments are. So working with him a little bit about getting those posted a week in advance so people will know, hey, he's at a tournament right now. Get ready to watch or something like that. So
Nice. So it's
yeah,
Seattle in 2 weeks, and then when?
Seattle is in 2 weeks. Then I have St. Louis, and then I have Philly, and then Philly's the end of August, and in the first week of September I have Cincinnati. So going back home for that. And then Cincinnati is in September, and then I want to say there's like a Dallas, and then the next one is in Hilton Head, and then maybe
Okay.
a Houston, and I want to say everyone's ending the year in Orlando. I think the end is in Orlando. I want to say PPA's last tournament of the year is in Orlando, and then
Okay.
I want to say the um, USA Pickleball is in Rockwall, Texas at the end of the year
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
Are you gonna play in that?
I don't know how. So I've actually tried to research this. I don't know how they structure the pro people getting in because when you look online, it's all about having the golden ticket and stuff like that.
Oh,
Um,
okay. I don't know
so
either.
I don't know how the entry works for that at all. But I'm definitely gonna look into that because I would love to go. I met a friend that was at Wild Dunes for a clinic, and he lives right around that place. So he was saying, "Hey, come down and play this tournament. You can stay with me." So it's
Yeah,
definitely
man.
something I would like to take advantage of. Go down there and play that tournament. So
That's sweet.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Well, dude, thanks so much for coming on.
Of course, yeah. Thank you.
This has been awesome. Thanks so much for like
Of
taking the
course,
time.
yeah, dude. Yeah.